Hello, good evening, welcome to my humble model railway, Bedstead Junction. Now tonight I'm going to be making a video about one of the smaller locomotives. In fact, this might be the subject of a couple of my videos which I'll be putting out next, and it'll be all about the Midlands. And what I mean by that, well, I think a lot of the time, and quite rightly, a lot of us will be focusing on the large prestigious locomotives like me for Great Western, it'd be the Castles and the Kings, the Southerns, the King Arthurs, and such like. LNER, of course, Flying Scotsman, and the Midland Coronation class, you know, all these other wonderful locomotives, big express locomotives flying around the track. And every now and again, I think we need to spare a little bit of let's give some credit to the little locomotives. And these smaller locomotives are ideal for anybody who's got a smaller layout. Now, I bought a locomotive which I received about a week ago, but I've been quite busy lately, so this is going to be my first chance of actually making this video tonight. Again, always forgive me if I make a few errors here and there. It's getting quite late in the evening, and I've just enjoyed a coffee, and let you see this. Mr. Train Buff again. Mr. Train Buff rides again, and not denying that. And without any further ado, we'll turn the camera around and we'll have a look and see exactly what locomotive I've just bought. Right, so you can see I've got the railing ramp at the ready over there for this locomotive. And tonight we're looking at 31432, it's locomotive by Bachmann, so that's the serial number, the model number 31432, Midland Class 1F 41708, BR Black, late crest. Six-pin DCC. That's what the outer box is going to look like. There's a locomotive inside. We'll have a closer look at this later on. And on the back you'll get a brief history of the locomotive and its class. And we'll be using some of the material from there when I start to explain what these locomotives are all about. I'm just going to turn the camera around. I'm going to get ready for an unboxing. Right, so there's our little box there, and usual Bachmann packaging. It's an outer sleeve, comes off like so, and then it's in a block of ice packaging. And I know some of you might not like unboxings, but I think I like to do an unboxing because it gives you some idea about the experience when you actually get the locomotive. What's the presentation like? It was supplied by a company called the Model Railway Emporium. You see there. I've had good service from them, so I'd only go on my own personal experience, but I've never had a bad model from these people. Give you a little ID card, tell you all about the condition of the locomotive and what comes with it and stuff. Excuse me. And it comes with the usual product maintenance and care leaflet. And information like part numbers. Okay, so it's a Johnson 1F060 locomotive. That's what we're looking at now. So some of you will be shouting at the screen, hurry up and get the locomotive out. Well, we will now, just be patient. So we've got an outer sleeve, the usual way. Some of you might be familiar with this. Some of you may be relatively new to the hobby, and you might be interested in how these locomotives come. Okay, so let's take a look now. So we just open up, like so, and here's the locomotive. Sorry about my mucky paws getting in the way. Now, what's the first impressions? I think this is something which I like to include in my reviews. What does a model feel like? What does it feel like when I'm looking at it? Now, to me, it feels like a quality locomotive. Got some weight to it, and it feels quite well made. Let's put a little zoom in on there. We'll be going on the Lazy Susan soon as well. And you can see it's got a half cab on it, and this has really got lots of detail to look at. Like I think it's one of the littler, smaller locomotives, a 1F. And what we'll do is we'll get this one onto the track in just a few moments, because I want to try it out. So a nice lot of weight to this locomotive, and wow, there's some lovely detail to this, which I'll be showing you later on. So you get to those of you who want to see what the cab looks like, and what the model's like in general. You'll find out. You will get a closer look. But what we want to know is how does this locomotive run? Are we happy with the running qualities? Obviously, it was a second-hand locomotive. And there we are. That's me making life easy for myself with a railing ramp. Would I recommend people get one? Yes, of course. Make life easy for yourself. Okay, so let's have a look at our little 0601F locomotive here. Let's even get some focus going. There we go. Let's try going forwards. Okay, and going backwards. Now, what I've been looking out for as well with a model like this, nothing's fallen off, nothing loose in the box, and it seems to be running smoothly both forward and backwards. So what we'll do is we'll let it run around the track a little bit, and then we can talk about it as well. So away we go. Okay, I'll be coming round quite soon. And while the locomotive's going round, I suspect it's probably going at about a scale speed of about 500 miles an hour, I don't know. But seems to be going around quite nicely for me. Let's talk a little bit about it. Obviously, a Bachmann model. Brief history of the Midland 1F. I'll go through this quickly. Won't read it all out. By the end of the 1870s, a need had arisen for more shunting tanks. To satisfy this need, Samuel W. Johnson introduced the 1377 class. What you can see going around now. A total of 185 engines were built between 1878 and 1892, and they were given the power classification 1F. A series of orders for rebuilding the 1377 class with Johnson's G5 bell-powered boilers was issued between 1924 and 1927, and 88 were rebuilt, and as such until the economic slump hit in the 1930s. Now, yeah, the 1930s, the Great Depression. I can remember my people talking about it. It wasn't so long ago that the 1930s was within people's living memory. If anybody's not studied that period of history, it would you would do well to have a look at that. Now, during this period, reduced traffic resulted in a number of the 1377s being stored, but they remained widely spread. The stored locomotives were used for short-term loans to other lines, private firms and collieries. Important loans were also made to the military during World War II. The decline of the class was very gradual. After the initial heavy withdrawals of the early 1930s, and as business began to stir back into life, numbers taken out of service each year remained in single figures, with the exception of 1940 to 1945, when none were withdrawn. Now, I guess they were needed during the Second World War. All were officially drawn by 1966. One locomotive exists in preservation, 41708, which is the locomotive we're looking at now. This will be the locomotive. If you wanted to see one of these in preservation, you can see this very locomotive. I must say it's going around very, very, very smoothly. I mean, apart from some of the very, very early split chassis locomotives from Bachmann, and even then most of those ran quite well, ones that I've got. I've never had any real trouble with Bachmann locomotives. They all seem to just go round and round around the track, just as much the same as this. Very, very nice indeed. It does exclude you just one moment. Right, I just tried to find out some information about it. It's definitely preserved. I've just looked that up. Pardon me. This locomotive was built at Derby in 1880. It went through various numbers, but became 41708 in 1949. That would be after nationalisation. And in 1926, this was one of the locomotives rebuilt with the bell pair boiler, but remained as a half cab. So 41708, I've taken a residence at Barrow Hill Roundhouse. I went there in 2005 and that's remained there. The boiler certificate is now expired. In December 2018 it was disclosed that agreement had been reached to sell the locomotive to the Barrow Hill Engine Shed Society. The new owners have given the firm commitment to restore the locomotive, which was not seen in 2003. Overhaul began in November 2020 and is expected that the locomotive will steam again in late 2024 or early 2025. So I would love to see this locomotive up and running perhaps. Now this is also, to illustrate to any of you who are watching who might have any doubts, that it's perfectly feasible to run small locomotives on a layout with lots of points. You can see this one's going over, well, let's watch this one go over a set of points up here. Just go around the corner now. And you'll see it's going over there without even a murmur. Okay, so it's relatively short wheelbase, 060. And in fact, I'm going to show you something a little bit more extreme in just a few moments' time. Because we do have another locomotive on the layout. Now I'm just going to put my phone on to do not disturb because messages have started to come through on it. So I'll just pop that to one side now, that's fine. So now we're going to see if how this locomotive runs over points. I think what we'll do then is we shall take a look at it on the Lazy Susan and we can have a look and see some close-up details. So let's have a look and see now. Let's I don't want to have a crash in my other train that's in the goods shed, so we'll right, so for those of you who wonder, these points are all operated by hand. I've not motorised them as of yet. We shall see now. Let's watch this locomotive and we'll see how it goes over points on this junction. Absolutely perfect, not a murmur. Right, there was a little bit of a problem with my track further down the line, so we'll just sort that out in just a moment. Okay, so now let's watch this locomotive reverse out of the little station here. Right, it's got stuck. Let's have a look and just see what's going on. Probably my fault, it's probably a bit too timid with the controller. Yeah, it's just... yeah, probably me being too timid with the controller there. Now to remember that this layout does go out every night, so go out every night when I run it, and it comes back and it's dismantled. No, it doesn't want to run. Let's have a look and see what's going wrong. Yeah, a little bit of a weird one. It didn't like going over the that point in reverse. Now, it could be my track. I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong with the locomotive. But here we go. Well, there we go. See over there, no problem at all now. Beautiful. Okay, so that shows that these little locomotives can negotiate these junctions. Like I say, went over it perfectly forward, but was a little bit reluctant in reverse. Okay, so in just a moment, we'll get the Lazy Susan and we'll have a good look at this locomotive. Right, so here's our little 1F, our magnificent 1F. I mean, and you can see it's in BR plain black, as a lot of freight locomotives were after nationalisation. And you can see it's got the late crest, which would have ran from 1956 onwards. Very nice detail, the wheels all look nice. Chassis detail. The numbers on the bunker there, 41708. We're going to have to maybe pick this locomotive up so we can have a good look at her. In fact, we'll do that now. And you can see here now, it's got a very, very small coal load. Presumably it was to go very, very short distances. A little bit of moulded detail there. You can see that you want the safety valves and the whistle there. Now, because it's a half cab, we've got some superb cab detail here. Really, really, really nice. All decked out lovely, the cab itself. And again, we'll just lift it up just slightly so you can look down this side. Beautiful cab detail there. And on the coal bunker there, I think it's probably got the capacity on that bunker. The water tanks, obviously, they're side tanks. They're down the side of the boiler. And the bunker's on the back. You've got the little guardrail there on the back. See it there? And the colo looks really, really nice too. Nem type coupling. And for those of you who want to know, we shall soon find out for you. Right. Does the locomotive have sprung buffers? Yes, it does. Other detail on the back here. Nice lamp irons there. 4 lamp irons on the back. Really, really, really nice locomotive. That cab detail is superb. That makes the locomotive pop, in my opinion. Really, really nice. You've got there's extra detail in the detail pack, so I didn't show the detail pack. I'm sure there was one in there. Now, turn round to the other side. Move it closer for you. We'll have a lot of the hand of the giants here today. And again, there's a box there, not sure what that's for. Lamp irons on the front. Crest. Late crest. Now try and have a look at this, very, just to see under there. Yes. So you need to get a closer look at what's under there, under the 41708s. That would appear to be the builder's plate. Okay, you've got the steps there and there. And you can clearly see the locomotive is an 060. No leading wheels, 6 driving wheels, no trailing wheels. Which most tank engines were, small tank engines. Similar engines, the 3F Ginty perhaps, more of a powerful locomotive on the Midland. Let's have a look at the fronts. The number 41708 there. Shed plate, I believe, there. Lamp irons all intact there. NIM coupling on the front. And again, yes, we do have sprung buffers. The cab is fully glazed. 2 little round windows there. So we've got glazing in the cab. That's something which you didn't get with some smaller locomotives going back in the day. Going back in the old Airfix day with the 14XX and locomotives like that, you didn't get cab glazing. On a more modern Bachmann locomotive like this, yes, you do get cab glazing. And I'll just relay a small story to you. I mean, you may agree or disagree with what I'm about to say. This is just someone's opinion. I was in East Somerset Models. It's on the East Somerset Railway, and somebody was asking why these some of these Bachmann locomotives were so expensive, and some, you know, and it's a reasonable question. And he said, well, you're paying for the quality, and that is true in a lot of cases. On this particular model, yes, I would say that's the case. Looking underneath, looks like all the brake rigging is already fitted there underneath. And you can see the keeper plate there and everything else. Looks like probably the middle set of wheels are driven. Got all the spring detail underneath. We can clearly see the couplings front and back there. So all in my humble opinion, a nice little locomotive, and just to say, it's nice nice to have a look at the little locomotives. And we're going to do a little bit of kind of shunting in a minute, and then we'll execute a change of locomotive. So we're going to take away the Lazy Susan, and then we're going to see what this locomotive is like pulling a load. Now I would guess that it will pull a load very, very well, because there's quite some weights to it. Oops, I just knocked it over. Silly me. Sorry about that. Okay, no damage done. Beautiful. It's getting a little bit late. Okay, so what we're going to see now is a little bit of an exchange of engines. Okay. Now what we've got, I was running my little train here, which is in the goods shed, behind my little 040 locomotive. Now we're going to show you this. Now, for those of you who are thinking of running a small locomotives on a layout with lots of points, can you do this? Absolutely. Watch this. This is a little 040 locomotive from a train set, okay? One of the most basic locomotives you can ever possibly see. From a Hornby train set from the mid-90s. I think probably the early 2000s it might have come from. Right, so there we go. It's just getting underway. I did a bit of slippage there. There's a very, very lightweight engine, pulling quite a heavy train. But as you can see, it's pulling this, and it was certainly well within the demands of pulling the rolling stock that came with the train set. And that's a little 040 locomotive. It handles points very well. You can see it's going over without any difficulties. And in fact, we're going to do a little bit of a change of engine right now. So we're just going to uncouple the 040. I'm going to shunt that one into the goods shed, and then we're going to bring the 060 locomotive out. They can see what our 060 is like. Going around the track. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of a change of engines. And here's our 060 coming out. There we go. I'm going to bring this onto the onto my train. Right, here we go. We just get underway now, and you see this magnificent 1F pulling its train. Now I must admit, I was getting problems with derailments earlier, but it's more to do with the wagons than anything else, and it's the couplings. They're old wagons, to be honest with you, and they're all various coupling types. You've got large D types, and there's an M type on the loco. And sometimes you need to adjust. If you do get a lot of derailments with wagons, it's sometimes best to look at the couplings, making sure they're coupling out right and the hooks are on straight and stuff like that. As you can see, my locomotive is going around quite well now, whizzing through that country station without any effort. In my opinion, it would be capable of pulling a much longer train than this, We'll talk about the train that's pulling. It's a bit of a pub theme and circus themed train tonight. It's pulling Smith's Crisps, KP Peanuts, Watney's Red Barrel, I should imagine. That was a beer that was available in the 1980s. Peroni, which is a lager you could buy today. Being a Lima one, Italian, I think Peroni's probably quite fitting for that. And then we got Cox's Brothers Circus and a Great Western brake van. So the front two wagons are Hornby. Then you've got the two beer wagons are Lima, and then the Cox Brothers Circus wagon and the brake van are Hornby as well. Being pulled by Bachmann. So we've got 3 different manufacturers on their line tonight. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. Now we'll let this one go around for a little while, because give it a nice little running session. Our brave little 1F. And this really is just to say, to spare a thought sometimes. I know we've got our Flying Scotsmen in Tornadoes, in Castles Kings, Merchant Navies, Border Pacifics, that sort of thing. King Arthur's, Midland Railway, you'll have Jubilees and Black Fives and Princess Coronation class. Sometimes it's nice to spend some time with the smaller locomotives, and especially for those of you out there. I mean, I've got a 6x4 layout here, and I can get away with running express locomotives on it if I've got relatively short trains of 3 carriages. But if you've got a much smaller space and even than this, you'll probably see that it's perfectly feasible to run a small model railway in 00 in a fairly confined space. Now if you've enjoyed watching this video, please press the like button and subscribe, and don't forget to press that bell button as well, and that will make you aware of future videos which I'm going to be making. I'll be making some fresh videos soon. In fact, I might do a bit of a bigger running session with smaller 040 and 060 locomotives. We'll give our Midland Railway 1F a chance to stretch his legs again. And I've got my Peckets and Terriers, locomotives of that nature, small locomotives. We're going to give them a chance, maybe in my next video, for these locomotives to stretch their legs a bit, okay? So what I would say is, thank you very, very much for watching. And I shall say farewell and bye-bye for now.